All right, what is up, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to Final Fan TV. I am your host, Daniel Hofflich, and we have a very, very special guest party member in the party tonight. And you may know her from her amazing work in popular video game titles such as League of Legends, World of Warcraft, and Skullgirls. She is also the voice of Gwen from Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's right, we're here to let her know that we have slayed the Cerulean Drake, we have found the security key, and her voice has always been immortalized within Final Fantasy VII Remake now. So please welcome the very talented Danielle McRae.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys.
No, thank you so
That's
much.
a nice intro.
Oh,
it's a great intro.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's a great guest, so thank you so much for joining us today. We're really happy to have you on the show. We have a good one planned. We're going to talk a little bit about your role in Final Fantasy VII Remake. How incredible that is just to have your, like I said earlier, have your voice immortalized within the remake of Final Fantasy VII. And yeah, and we're going to do some Mad Libs. We're going to take Gwen's lines and we're going to just mess them up and have you read them back.
Just a little bit.
That should be fun.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's gonna be a fun show. Mad Libs are always a good time here on Final Podcast. And then we have we're actually going to have you join us as we rank every game in Final Fantasy in the series. So
Oh
yeah, so that should be pretty fun. Like to get your rankings on them, and mainly just to get your thoughts, get to know you, and like which one's your favorites, and yeah, so it should be pretty fun.
No pressure.
Yeah,
no pressure. Yeah, no pressure whatsoever.
It's very divisive here. We've set we've laid our banners on our favorite games here. So
yes,
just a little bit.
It's like Vinny said earlier in the chat. He said that it's just going to get a little bit more I don't know, divisive and controversial when we get after the top 5. Like that's when we're gonna be like, okay,
yeah,
probably, yeah.
Where do you rank Squall?
No, hold that thought.
Right above Vaughn.
Gosh darn.
Right above Vaughn, right?
Right above Vaun.
That's a snowball, big snowball. Right.
Yeah, we'll save that rabbit hole.
All right, we are Final Fan TV. We ask that you please select the subscribe button and summon more Final fans to the channel so that we can continue to host amazing Final Fantasy voice actors such as Danielle McRae, community members, content creators, and hopefully one day developers. I am Daniel Hofflich, and I am joined by my FFTV party, Reed, Osby,
Hello.
Tomlin,
Hey, what's up?
Vinny McGovern. There he is.
He just waves.
You get a little wave from Vinny.
He's like, I'm back here, fellas. What's up?
Hi, guys.
He's a passive Vinny today.
Did everybody have a happy New Year? Everybody have Danielle, did you have a happy New Year?
I did. Well, I probably too good of one because I had a lot of junk food, and then when it turned midnight, I just went to sleep.
That sounds like a New Year's. Yeah.
Gotta know what's the junk food of choice.
So I'm in Canada right now, so Smarties. Good.
Smarties.
Tofu beefy. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, a lot of like candy.
That's where it is.
I think I'm just getting old, guys, because like I had a little caramel popcorn and I said that's way too much sugar. I said it's too sweet.
I mean,
it's too sweet.
I had some chips and some Fireball, so it was great.
Hey.
Daniel, how much Dr. Pepper do you drink before a show?
Dude, I am hype, man. It's actually it's a little bit of Mountain Dew, okay? I gotta stop doing that before the intro because I'm like I was stumbling over words. I'm like trying to get some words out. Yeah,
we're gonna make your like whatever. We're just gonna like concentrate your energy into its own like soda, like energy drink, and just call it Dr. Danny. or Danny Pepper, whichever one.
It's called Danny MD. We don't want to get like copyright sued or anything.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, look,
Medical empty.
I don't know, man. I'm just so hyped. I'm hyped for today. You know, I'm hyped to talk to Danielle McRae. You know, like this is really cool. I'm hyped to get Final Podcast back on the show. So you know, hype plus Mountain Dew really just is a combination. Let me tell you. I woke up in the middle of the night and I talk in my sleep. So so my wife let me know. She said I sat up in my bed after she came back from getting the baby to go to sleep. I sat up in the bed and I said, "Are you ready for the big stuff?"
Oh,
And she said,
No.
like, and I said, like Final Fantasy items.
and who says romance is dead?
Yeah. And then I just went right back to sleep. And then I woke up this morning and I said, "Do I look like a piece of cake?" That's what I say in my sleep. Anyways, guys, we're gonna be
all this quality content and more at Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy TV. All right, we have a question for Danielle McRae. We're gonna start our questions. You play the role of Gwen in Final Fantasy VII Remake. She gives the player a side quest of taking down a Drake in the Sector 7 slums. Before speaking with Gwen, she's having some funny back and forth with the two Shinra officers, and that conversation for me was just great. I love that triangular conversation that was going on there. A lot of fun back and forth there. But after completing the quest, Gwen compliments Cloud, saying something like she would take one of him over 20 of these idiots.
Uh-huh.
What I thought was interesting was Cloud actually defends the Shinra soldiers in that moment and saying that they're just doing their jobs. You need people who can follow orders. And then Gwen like just 180 turns around and just was like, you know what? The hell of them, the hell with you. We don't need you guys.
Yeah.
So I
That's
thought that
next
was
level, next level sass. For
yeah,
sure.
just like you know, forget you guys. What do you?
Gets pretty
You don't need no
sassy with
mercs.
her.
Yeah. So how fun was it to record these lines for Final Fantasy VII Remake? Of course, I want to know also like how it felt when you said, "Oh my God, I'm going to be in Final Fantasy VII Remake."
It was a very emotional moment, like very emotional, because I didn't audition for her. I kind of got brought in. Well, actually, no, kind of. I got brought in from the studio to record for her. So they were asking me. Well, okay, so we'll start from the origin story here. So about the year the first trailer came out, when it said remake, that's when I was like, oh, they're actually redoing this game. It's awesome. And so I was trying to figure out who was going to be working on this game. I was like having my hunch, like maybe it's this studio, or maybe it's this studio. And so the studio that I worked with for like on and off for a couple of years, I kind of sent them an email and I asked them like, do you guys know if you're working on FF7? Because it was really too early to tell. No one really had it yet. And I kind of asked them, do you guys have the rights to kind of localize FF7? And I said, we don't know yet, but when we do, we'll let you know. And I asked them if like, if I can audition for it, because I love 7 a lot. And so about last year, I had a reply from that email from all those years ago when the first trailer came out. And the director told me, hey, can you come in from this time to this time on this day? And I'm like, okay. And they said they wouldn't tell me what the game was. So I was kind of like trying to put 2 and 2 together. It's like, why would they respond to this particular email? Like this one. So they're saying it's a really big AAA union game. And we need you to come in for this hour and this hour. Okay, you're available. It's like, yeah, sure, totally. And I come in the day of the session, not knowing what I'm doing, but I'm kind of guessing like maybe it is FF7 because they had a code name to it too. So I'm like, okay, this is probably something really big. And then I go into the session and they don't tell me right away it's FF7. They give me the script and I find out that Shinra and Tifa were in the script. I'm like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on here. And everything started adding up. I'm like, okay, that's why she responded to that particular email kind of message from years back. And it was a lot of fun recording for Gwen. They pretty much told me just like be as sassy as you can with her. And Gwen, in a way, does remind me of myself because I can get a little sassy in real life. but she's like, she turns it up like completely. It's like I love her.
So let me ask you, how many while you're in the booth recording her, how many times do you snap your fingers during your lines?
Quite a bit. Quite a bit. It actually helped because they would say, like, before you record, just snap your fingers, put your hand on your hips, do anything that you could do to bring out some attitude with her. And it definitely helped. Just to do that, like put my hands on my hips or snap or, like shake my head and all that stuff. But after the session was over and I had to sign more paperwork, I went to the studio bathroom, cried for a good hour. And I was like, I played this game, I don't know how many times, probably like around that time, 5 or 6 times. And I played it again after the remake came out, the original one. And it was very emotional.
Yeah. Oh
That's awesome. It's funny you say that because I'm actually replaying through 7 like right now as well, like the original for like the 30th time.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, there's a story I shared with these guys. Back in the day, like I didn't want it to like the closure of finishing the game like scared me. So basically I'd do like a perfect game and I'd get to, like the North Crater at the end of the game, and then I'd stop and I'd start a new game and save over it. And I would just never beat it because I'd play through it like 10 times or whatever and never actually beat it. And then once I finally did, I didn't play it again for like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years until just now when these guys actually inspired me to play through it again. So
Aww.
That's awesome, man.
But
I can't. You went all those years without actually getting that ending.
I know.
Yeah.
I watched my brother like beat it, but it's like I just like couldn't bring myself to do it. It's like closing a chapter that I didn't want to close.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII is good times, man. It's good
really
times.
is.
The remake's good times. OG's good times. It's all good times.
All good times.
It is.
Danielle, that's awesome to find out that you were that you were such a big Final Fantasy VII fan. That's really cool. And then just being
so are we.
That whole story. Thank you so much for sharing that story. That is such a really cool story. Like, you send that email out 2015, I believe.
Yeah, it was around then. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you're just like, it's out there. It's I'll probably never hear back from it. And then did you say it was not last year, obviously, but like the year before, like 2019 when you heard it was
2019. 2019 was the year I heard back, and all those years after I submitted that email, I was like, maybe I should have done that. Maybe that might get me blacklisted. Like, we'll never know. But I kept thinking, like, I had, the thought of maybe it's a good idea. And the other side's like, no, it's probably not a good idea. And then I heard back. I was just really curious. And I really, at that time, I was like, I will be happy to be a soldier and die in it for a second. Like, I would love to just beat anybody in that game. That's what my mindset was at that point, that moment in time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, you ended up being a pretty big side quest too. That's pretty awesome.
It's like at the very, it's kind of like in the first like really open area of the game. So it's like, I think it's like the first side quest hub, so it's like kind of like where it's like, oh, okay, well, this is how this game is going to be a little different, So I remember like that was like the second or third like side quest I did, and with like the Shinra soldiers there and everything like that. It was very memorable for me. And also,
yeah, exactly. And like I said, like that conversation that was going back and forth between Gwen and the two soldiers, that just made that side quest actually a really memorable side quest. You know what I mean? Like,
so when Danny was talking about having you on, that you played Gwen, I was immediately like in my head like, oh, the sassy one.
Yeah. Sassy one. I like that. Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. So what's your favorite memory with Final Fantasy VII, the original?
I have so many. Definitely. As I'm blanking out. The Chocobo, the Gold Saucer. I liked it over there. I liked Gold Saucer. My gosh, there's many more. I liked Barrett's side quest, but his kind of memory flashback. Just because I wanted to see more of him. At that time when I was first playing, and then like just finding out his story. The Tifa Scarlet slap scene is probably one of my favorites in OG. I'm like, please bring that back for the remake.
I was actually having a conversation with somebody on Twitter about this, and they were saying that they won't put it. They're thinking, and a lot of other people are thinking that they won't put it in.
Mhm.
And they're thinking that it's not. I don't know. I guess politically correct anymore.
Yeah.
Bring on the slaps. Just let it happen. Just pop, 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 pop,
I
pop,
think
pop.
it's fine.
Bring it on.
I think the way they could do it was like if Scarlet like slaps Tifa in the face, and then like Tifa just rears back and just like
Yeah.
just punches her out. That would
Just
be
like
awesome.
super kicks or something.
You
Just knock her
think
out.
that the
Yes.
slap fight is about to happen. You think it like Scarlet slaps you, and then it's just like press square, and then boom, you just like
Yep.
just send her flying.
That'd be hilarious.
A little fun fact, Scarlet whooped my ass in that slap fight when I was on ×3 speed. I couldn't press the button
Oh,
fast
God,
enough
no.
before.
×3?
Yeah, she
Do you have the
slapped
whole
me.
game on ×3 speed?
You can
Yeah.
have it on. Yeah, you
Oh,
just click in
wow.
the right stick on the newest ones. The
Alright,
the
guys.
PS4.
All right, next idea for our next cover band, 3-time slap battle.
3-time slap battle. That's got to be a heavy metal one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Heavy
you gotta
metal
slap
funk.
because you guys slap the bass.
Yeah, heavy metal funk, man.
Get the slap guitar.
Yeah,
And that's our soundbite from today. From
Yes.
Mr. Danny.
yeah.
We try to get a
quotes of
soundbite
the
from every
cast.
episode.
Yeah, quotes of the cast.
Quotes to the cast. Good job, Danny.
3-time slap fight. All right, Vinny, what's up, man? It says here you got a question, dude.
Yeah, so I'm currently watching through Attack on Titan again,
Mhm.
and so like after watching through it again, because I originally watched it subbed, and now I'm watching it dubbed because it's all on Hulu, and so after like doing this podcast and like talking to voice actors and actresses, I appreciate voice acting a lot more, and in the show, a lot of the show immerses me because of the voice acting. It sounds so genuine, and their emotions sound very real, and I just how I know actors and actresses they prepare for roles by kind of like becoming their character so they can make everything feel more organic, but like how do you prepare for a role where your characters live so beyond reality? How do you put yourself into these situations that are just so unrealistic and make it seem so genuine?
That's a really good question. So I think it has to do with the acting, because a lot of times when we do go in, like when I went for Gwen, I learned about her the second I got into the booth. So a lot of times, very rarely we'll get like a week to look over a script. That's actually pretty generous. It's kind of a rarity. You get a script like a week ahead of time. With the remote recording, it's been like a day or two. We get a script just to kind of get the character. But sometimes it's like that second. We get to know the character while we're working, and just a lot of times, like I just picture myself in the character's shoes. Like, what would I do if I were in their shoes? Like Gwen, like, what would I do if I were in her? Probably the same thing she did in FF7 Remake. But it's a lot of fast thinking on your feet. Kind of, yeah, improv does play into it, and acting definitely plays into it. But it's almost like, this is going to be a dork way of me saying this, but it's almost like you're playing a Final Fantasy game, you're walking on like, the field, and all of a sudden you get like surprise encountered. That's exactly how voice acting is. Like you kind of get that surprise encounter, get that script, like, okay, here you go, have fun. It's like, oh, okay, we'll try to think how to do this. But then at the same time, we have the director kind of guiding us through the process, so we're not completely alone. And then sometimes if it's, I don't think Final Fantasy VII had this. There's a game I did called Detective Pikachu, and there was a director and then a few other people from Japan. They all kind of guided me through my character in that game. So I always give props to the director, because without them, we would not, as actors, know what we're doing in the booth, how to bring that character to life. And I always thank them and the engineers definitely for making it sound great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. So it's probably like 50% of yourself putting into the character, and then the other 50% you just use your imagination.
Yeah, it's like being a big kid. Like it's like, like you're playing make believe, you're playing pretend, but you're doing it for money, and you kind of forget. Oh, I'm actually doing this for money. I was just playing around the booth, and then you get paid. It's like I got paid for this. So it's like, yeah, it's like you're kind of getting back into your little kid roots all over again with voice acting, and then you kind of just bring a character to life, and it's always hard. The hardest thing is saying goodbye to that character, because once you get into the rhythm and the groove of that character, and then you find out that's the end of their journey, that can get kind of emotional. But yeah.
I get that way when watching a show, and like it's the series finale, and you're just like, man, I don't want to say goodbye to these guys. I can imagine if you are the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It gets hard.
When we were talking to oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It does get hard, especially if it's like a series and you've been recording them for season after season, and then you find out this is the final season, this is the end of their journey, and then you kind of just feel really bad that that's the end of their journey. You'll never see them again.
That's how I felt after watching Dexter. For like me and my wife like binge watched Dexter, and then like I don't know, it was about a month or two later, and I was like, you ever think about how's Batista doing, man? I miss that guy. Like, I wonder what he's up to, man.
You get to the end of a series, and the first thing that happens is your head starts going, one more time, bring it back, come on.
So that was me with Firefly. I'm like, I wonder how they're all doing. Like the characters are all doing after the show got canceled.
Oh gosh, that was a shame.
That was me with Harry Potter. Like when those books would come out, like I still to this day remember when Order of the Phoenix came out, and they had like I was at the airport because I was flying to Puerto Rico to see my family, and they were all like pretty much all sold out, and there's one copy left, but someone had like spilled coffee or something all over it. And I was like, I'll take it. and so we get to Puerto Rico. It's like my family has like this villa kind of thing. It's beautiful beaches and all that stuff. I didn't leave the house or like the room for like 2 days straight, and I just read through that book, and I was like, well, guess I just gotta wait another 2 years for the next one now, And then like when I finish this series, it's just like I'll never, like you lose like that, for 7 years basically you watch these people progress, and it's like, and now I leave you, like you're going out in the world on your own now. That's like, it's actually like
that's how I was for The Office. When The Office ended, I was like, oh, like, you grow up with these people. They feel like they're part of your family. And now it's like not on Netflix anymore.
Right.
Well,
tune into
Unless you're in Canada. It's still
unless you're here in Canada, it's still here.
It's still there.
I'm just gonna change my Xbox's location to Canada.
Seems legit.
Speaking of that, kind of, we were talking to John Bentley about his role as Barrett.
I love him. I love John.
He's such a great guy.
He was awesome.
We say it every time. Like, it's like when we bring up John Bentley, we have to be like, you know what, man? What a genuinely great guy that guy is.
Yeah.
He's just a mutual bromance for him now.
Yeah. He gave us all nicknames.
He sang the Macarena as Drunk Barrett. It was the best thing.
He did?
He sure did.
He said,
I need to see that. Oh my goodness.
You can catch that on, what is it, episode 1 or 2 with him? Check it out on Final Fan TV,
Or 3.
Oh, I need to see that.
It's all there.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
I'll clip it out for you and then send it to you. So that way you can just get to the part where as soon as you click the link, it'll just go, hey, Marguerite.
I gotta see it. That's great.
I can't even remember how like that started as an inside joke between like the 4 of us, and then somehow like at this point, like I took it upon myself to like try to record all our inside jokes, but at this point I'm so far behind, it's hopeless. But like it just like to have him on, and like we were like talking about like all these like really like heavy topics, like societal issues and all this kind of stuff. And then it's like, hey, by the way, we have this inside joke where we talk about Barrett doing the Macarena.
He got into it too. He was like doing his little dance thing.
Oh my God.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, John is a precious being that must be protected at all costs. I love John so much.
Yeah, it's like he's on like Betty White tier now.
Oh yeah,
Betty White.
Really is.
Nice.
Yeah. I hope John just like watches all of our casts just so he could, just because he knows that there's going to be like the clip of us complimenting him every single time. And then
you can't go
romance.
Like,
there should be a compilation of John, and then the Macarena can be in there too.
Yes.
That would be great.
He also
Just
read some of
do-
the lines from Barrett from the original game.
Oh,
Like
nice.
we had him read some of the like famous quotes from Barrett where he was just like, I've been here since the beginning and I still don't know what the hell's going on.
That's great.
The fun
Oh,
quote where
God.
he's when he sees Genova headless. He
Yeah.
he filled in all of the bleeped out explicatives. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
that was,
awesome.
with less, we're
Yeah.
not
God,
what
who
we
was it
thought
that he was
safe.
doing? Who was the impression he did? So like,
Oh,
the-
God,
when
Oh,
they-
he did Cloud.
He did.
Yeah, yeah, so-
Cody
Oh.
Christian.
Yeah.
He did Cody Christian.
yeah. So and
was
then
pretty
so
good.
he read his ad lib back like as him, and it was so like it's so funny. Like he like it was just like the perfect like.
That's great.
I know.
And then he also did an impression of Reed's dad going, "Dang nabbit."
No, no.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to
Yes.
hear. I wanted to hear him. It's like the funniest thing I've ever heard said in anger was my dad. And my dad like grew up like farm boy, country boy, North Carolina, real traditional Baptist, all this stuff, like good, like a goody two shoes. And the funniest thing I've ever heard in anger was one time he like stubbed his toe or something and he screamed, "Jiminy Crickets, doggone it."
So he,
And like I will like just
John said that.
to hear a human being say that in anger. It's like someone saying bubbles in anger.
That's so
like,
wholesome.
Yeah. So John even said that for me. It's so great.
Oh,
Barrett's
that's
voice.
so nice.
And end clip of John Eric Bentley Love Fest for this episode.
Yes.
Actually, hold on a second. There was a reason why I brought up John.
Oh yeah, exactly. There we go.
Besides just to praise him. He actually was talking about his role as Barrett, and when he
Mhm.
found out spoilers, everybody who watches the show knows that we love Final Fantasy. It's fine. When he found
We
out
love
that
the spoilers too.
yeah, here comes the spoiler. When he found out that Barrett got like stabbed by Sephiroth, like he told us the story that he thought his character was done.
Oh
Like
no.
right there, like he was like, wait a second, this is not how the original go. I'm out of a job, like I don't have a job anymore. Like I don't know what's going
That's
on.
so sad.
And he found out in the booth. He said so. That was like the day of recording,
Oh my
or the moment of
gosh.
recording. So
That had to have hurt him so bad to see that.
yeah, and he said like
Oh.
sometimes he likes to read his script before, and then sometimes he likes to just kind of go with the flow. And he said for that moment he was just like, whatever, I'm gonna go with the flow. And he said,
Mhm.
and then so when it said like stabbed or something like that, he was like, oh.
Oh no.
And he said, and they used that because
And that's the
he's, like, he was
soundbite in the
shocked
game.
and- yeah, he's like they used that soundbite and they didn't. That's the
It's
one-
so convincing.
yeah, because he was like, I was shocked, and then
And
said
then he started stress eating chocolate covered almonds.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh my
When
god.
I saw that, sorry, when I saw that in the game, I'm like, no, he can't go out like this. He's got to keep going. There's no way. He's best dad. He
He's
can't
best
go out
dad.
like this.
Best dad.
He is. Barrett is best dad. He cannot go out like this.
My first reaction was, "Oh hell no." Mm-mm.
Yep. Yep.
No,
Mine too.
I was
not
just like,
even a little bit. Mm-mm.
Not even a
Yeah.
little bit. The
I-
whole, the whole thing.
I very quietly said, "This isn't right."
This is
Yeah.
Like that's like all I could muster.
Like
And
the
then I
image
went
of
and
the
got
dog.
my.
It's not right here.
Sorry, go ahead, Austin.
I was like the image of the dog with the house on fire and he's sitting there drinking tea. Everything's okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is
It's
fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. And then we all get our stress almonds.
Oh.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Uh,
Like talk about pounding almonds.
One of my streamer friends, when I was watching her stream, I pulled up. She was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. I pulled it up, and the first thing I hear is she's bawling her eyes out, and she's saying they can't do this to Barrett. And I was like, oh, I know exactly what happened. But like it affected
We know.
people.
They
It
should.
did.
What would have been really funny is if they did like a compilation of people seeing that scene for the first time, like they did with like the Red Wedding.
Oh,
in, like,
it's-
Game of Thrones, you know?
I'm sure.
It's-
I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah, I'm sure
It's
out
true.
The reaction.
I'm
reactions.
I'm 8 months too late, but that's a great idea in April.
there. Yeah.
I did see, and this is spoilers, but I did see a little compilation of the Sector 7 plate falling for Remake, and I'm like, I can't look at that again. That messed me up for 2 days. I don't think I can see that again.
That was so,
Yeah.
that was
they-
so good.
That was like a funeral. Like
Yeah.
what?
They did such.
Yeah.
That was one of the scenes, like one of the iconic moments from the original that I was really looking forward to seeing, like
Yeah.
how they would recreate it. And I was looking forward to if they would do the whole rope swing,
Mhm.
where like Cloud jumps on and everybody's. Cloud didn't sit on Barrett's shoulder, but I mean, but yeah, they kept it so faithful to the original, and it's just whenever they were being super faithful to the original, it was hitting me like in that nostalgia, like,
Mhm.
and that moment was so well done because they show it just from the bottom looking up, everything falling down, and you really get that
Yeah.
the gravitas of the situation. So
Mhm.
I really enjoyed that too.
They did that scene so well.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, no, not Gwen.
Yeah.
Gwen. Well, I can't. Oh man, for some reason I can't remember. Did she walk out of that? I can't.
You know, I have no
remember.
idea. I had this whole thing. I'm like, no, she wouldn't. I can't see her just sitting there and watching the plate fall, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh hell no!" Like I
Right,
can
I'm
see
getting
her
out.
kind of leaving.
God, yeah. There was a few people that walked out of that, and I'm wondering if I can't remember if Gwen was one of them, but I hope so.
I know Marl didn't.
She could be in the show.
I loved Marl a lot. She was one of my
Yes.
favorite newer characters. Her and oh my gosh, who was the other one? The guy with the the gray hair. You find him in like Leslie. I liked Leslie too.
Oh yeah, Leslie. Yep, he was from what was it? Was it the kids
Was
are
it like
all
the kids
right?
are
The
all right?
Tourette's?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Hmm.
So that was
I
cool
liked
that they
him.
brought him in there, and he was a really cool
Mhm.
addition to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And then Kyrie,
Yeah,
uh,
Kyrie.
she was in there too. So they brought in a lot of cool characters from outside the original that I was like totally fine with for them
Hmm.
to bring in like to kind of flesh out that story a lot more in Wall Market, um, in particular. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you about you worked on Megaton Girl.
Yeah, I
With
did.
Yeah, with Austin Matthews, the voice of Roach from Final
Hmm.
Fantasy VII Remake. So I guess I have two questions for you, or
Of
three.
course.
What was it like to record for Megaton Girl? Which right now it's a brand new series created by Austin Matthews. It's really good. It's a radio play.
Hmm.
And I don't think there's enough attention getting on it right now. So I wanted to bring it up. You're in it, which is cool. Did you meet Austin through Remake, or were you guys like how did you end up working on Megaton Girl with Austin?
So me and Austin have a really long history. We met on a website. I think it was called at the time Voice Acting Alliance or VAA. We met briefly through there. We did a lot of fan dubs and radio plays and stuff like that. And then when we started working professionally, I would kind of just talk to him on Messenger. It's like, hey, I'm going to work in the studio today. Do you want to come hang out and we can like chat and eat food? We never got that arranged, sadly. But whenever this pandemic ends, I want to try and because we never met in person. We've only talked to each other through social media and Messenger. Um, and when I found out he was Roche, I was so excited because and he was actually my other favorite characters too in the game. I'm like, because every time Roche laughed, I was like feeling happy inside. I'm like, and I'm so happy that that they chose this guy, my friend, as Roche. So for Megaton Girl, he just approached me and said, hey, do you want to be like an additional character in my radio play? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I think he's working on the second season and he has me on for like a named character coming up. And
Awesome.
that should be lots of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. You get yourself a ongoing character. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, everybody check out Megaton Girl. It's really
Mhm.
good. And that's really cool to find out that you'll be more prominent in the coming episodes.
Yeah, I'm happy about that
Yeah.
because I really want to see him succeed and Megaton Girl succeed.
So this is kind of a random segue, but we're just kind of like going through, your career and things you've done. I'm curious. Yeah, exactly. What's the shotgun blast of random? I have to know when did you you voiced and I'm sure a lot of people out there still play League of Legends. I used to play it like religiously.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I found out from preparing for all this that you voiced like one of my main characters, which was Karma.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
so I'm
did.
I'm curious when you recorded, because they've had different iterations of characters. So I didn't know if you voiced the OG version or if they've changed it and you redubbed it, or like
Mm. So
I'm
I
curious.
did the OG Karma. Now
Nice.
she's has a traditional skin. Um, I don't want to get into a lot of sticky stuff with what happened with the change, but they did ask me to audition for the newer version of Karma, and I did that 3 times, and then I got pretty much somebody else came in and they kind of took over.
Hmm.
And I met the other voice actress, and I saw that she was getting so much hate on just her voice, and I'm like, that's not fair. So we actually met at a con called Summoners Con in LA like years ago, and we call ourselves Karma Sisters. Like we both share the role. And then
Hmm.
I told her no hard feelings. Like this is not your fault. And she was like, "Thank you. I'm glad you're not mad at me." I'm like, "You're just doing your job."
Yeah, unfortunately, without going into too much specifics and everything, there is
Hmm.
an part of the reason I quit playing the game in general is there is a pretty toxic community around that game,
There
unfortunately.
is. I used
As
to
there,
play it a lot. The community is so toxic.
it is, yeah. Like, I had like a 20-day ban on that game because I kept leaving games because people were like so
Oh.
toxic, or like they would leave and then yeah. But
Mhm.
no, like Karma was always like one of my favorite characters. Like, and I used her like all the time. So when I saw you voice her, I was like, that. All right, well, we're instantly friends now. So.
Oh, awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah. No, so it's actually funny that you voiced someone in League of Legends and Smite. So because like they're both like the MOBA, I think is the title of it, like both those
Yeah,
kinds of
the
games.
genre.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
genre. Thank you, Vinny, with the assist. I see you.
You
But
did
yeah,
get
no,
that
it's
assist over there. That's right.
yeah, it's cool that you kind of like pop from one game in the genre to like another one like that. It's pretty neat.
So next up is Overwatch, then, right?
That is the dream. That is the dream.
That would
Nice.
be awesome.
That's the new toxic one now.
Oh no.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
it is. It
What
is.
are
I used to play that game a lot. I don't play it as much
me too.
anymore, but it's so toxic now. Just
It
playing that too.
Yeah,
it
like well,
was it was toxic for me going from gold and then up to diamond was just all toxic
Oh
people.
no.
But then once I hit masters, everybody was just great. Everybody was on the same skill level. Everybody knew their role. Nobody was griefing you or anything. Masters and grandmasters is great. If you can get up to that, Overwatch is worth it. If you can't,
Oh yeah.
you're just gonna get griefed all the time.
What's
So
really funny
Yeah.
is
I've
go
got
ahead,
to
Bob.
know, you, Danielle, you've had the chance to work on so many cool projects throughout your career. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Skullgirls, World of Warcraft, Wasteland 3, which is awesome, by the way.
Oh, that's a great game. I love Wasteland 3. Such a great
Pokemon,
game.
Pokemon, and so many more. What project did you have the most fun working on?
That's a hard question because it goes back to every character I voice is like a child
mhm.
that I've given birth to in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Can I take a top 3? It's so hard to pick one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
No particular
So
order.
yeah, so definitely Final Fantasy 7. It has a really special place in my heart and it always will. It's got me through a lot of rough times growing up. So definitely that. Skullgirls, because around that time I was playing Darkstalkers, and I'm like, oh, I would love to voice in a video game one day. This is before I was a voice actor, and then I remember watching and looking at the character designs for Skullgirls, and they just had the first 2 characters at the time, Philia and Sarabella, and just that art alone reminded me of Darkstalkers, and I'm like, that'd be so cool to be in a game like that, just to be in a fighting game. And when I was in that, it was kind of like, I can't believe I'm in this. Like, this is awesome, but this is cool. This has happened.
Mhm.
And then probably the third one is a toss up between Pokemon, because I've grown up with that, and Wasteland 3, because I love like apocalyptic like games like that. Like, I liked the way Wasteland, I haven't played any other Wasteland except that one.
It's
So
so
I need
good.
to, yeah, so I kind of want to go and play the other ones.
Yeah. Awesome. Vinny, you got a question?
Yeah, so you obviously have an amazing talent that is highlighted in your previous work, but do you have like a specific dream role that you're chasing? Like, is there something that, like, if the opportunity arose, like what would your dream role be?
Oh my gosh. Either for the longest time, and it's still the same. Mass Effect. I have a huge love and appreciation for that series. Anybody in Mass Effect, I would be happy if I was a soldier dying in that game. I would be happy to be anybody in Mass
That would
Effect.
be so cool.
Yeah, and it was Pokemon, but that's already happened. I'd love to be more Pokemon. I love Pokemon so much.
I just like to imagine like the person who's like they get cast in like Pokemon like back in the days. There's like, this is it. This is my big break. Like, get ready, world. And then they just like repeat Charmander 1,000 times. Here
we need
go.
to be Charmander.
Actually,
I love Charmander.
I was about to say, yeah, exactly. Favorite Pokemon.
Favorite Pokemon.
We gotta go there.
Let's go.
Yes.
Daniel. What's your favorite? It's Charmander?
Charmander's my favorite.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, there we
Charmander is
go.
my favorite as well.
We gotta go down the list. Gotta go down the whole list. Everybody, come on.
The whole list.
So just the original 150 or any Pokemon?
Preferably OG.
Preferably OG, Ninetales.
Ooh, nice.
Caterpie.
Oh,
nice.
No joke. No, that it's because I would never play through, like, I played through blue versions so many times. And also, like, if you think that there's not a difference between blue and red and you like red better, you're a communist. Blue version is far superior. But I never played through that game, or even like gold or silver without Butterfree. Like, Butterfree is like my favorite. And the fact that it comes from like such a useless Pokemon like Caterpie is why Caterpie is my favorite.
Nice.
Isn't Caterpie only in red?
No, he's in both. I think the difference is the spawn rate, like in that first little jungle area or wood area. I think in the difference is blue version and in red version, one of them you get like more Weedles that you fight, and one you get more Caterpies. It's like just a difference between which one like spawns more.
For me, it's a tie between Gyarados and Gengar.
Oh, Gengar.
With the G's, man. Gyarados and Gengar. That's where it's at.
Dude, Red Gyarados was still like one of the coolest.
Oh yeah. See, absolutely.
If we're talking like competitive Pokemon, because I've played that, then
Vinny's like, hold up, time out.
Here comes Limit Breaker Vinny.
When I first discovered about like the EV training, like not like the Pokemon EV, but the EV values, I took a Abra and I trained it from level 10 all the way up to level 99, and then just fighting Slowpokes and Slowbros so I can max out his special attack, turn him into Alakazam, and then he would one-shot everything in competitive Pokemon. So
he's a beast.
All I know is that I still wish, like, I'm still waiting for the day where they have an evolution for Slowbro where it's like Slowbra.
Yes.
He's got like a chain.
It's his Alolan form, Slowbra.
Slowbra.
That's great.
So we had you so I'm gonna sneak this in real quick. We're having you list like your favorite projects you've worked on. So from my understanding and the internet's understanding, you're quite a fan of anime.
I am a fan of anime.
And in fact, you were in Magi. People pronounce it in a million different ways. It's like people call it Magi, people call it Magi, Magi, etc. But I actually just watched through that like in 2020 while we were locked in our homes, and I actually loved it. It's great.
It's such a great series. So
I'm just curious, like, and this is going to be divisive. What would like your top 3 like favorite anime be?
It's gonna be very divisive.
Sailor
Moon.
Everything today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got So Sailor Moon, definitely Pokemon. Third one, that's kind of hard because I have so many. I'll go with Black Lagoon because I always go with Cowboy Bebop or Outlaw Star, but I'll go with Black Lagoon.
Black. Oh my God, yes. Remy is.
Remy is everything. I love Remy.
She is the personification of like Queen Slay.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and what I love also is like my favorite anime of all time is Death Note.
Mhm.
And
Yep, Death Note.
That's a
the
great
voice
show.
actor,
Death
the
Note's
voice
up there
actor
for
for
sure.
Light. Yeah, the voice actor for Light is in Black Lagoon.
Nice.
He's Rock. Yeah, he's Rock. So like when I first found that series, I was like, I love this on so many levels now.
The actor is really cool too. He's the one who kind of introduced me to watermelon Oreos, and I'm like, okay, I didn't think that's a thing.
I loved Death Note. It's still my favorite anime, but I think L is he made the show like what it is. Like his little subtle quirks, like when Misa was just like, I can't imagine a life without light, and then like in the background you just hear L go like, that would be dark. It was just like so subtle.
It would be dark.
It would be dark.
It'll be dark.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
On the screen right now, as you can see, we have I don't know if you can see. Can you see it? The Final Fantasy rankings here. So what we're gonna do here, this actually kind of piggybacks off of a little bit of what we said earlier. We were talking about like toxicity within communities
Of our city.
of
Our city. Okay.
Soundbite too.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Quotes of the cast.
Toxicity in our city.
Is that Shrek?
Oh, great inside jokes that Danielle has no idea what we're saying. But yeah, this kind of goes off of that a little bit. Now, I didn't choose to rank this because of what I saw on the internet. I wanted to rank Final Fantasy because we will be starting a let's play of every game in the franchise, starting from one. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to doing it. And one of the things I'm really looking forward to is to see how my rankings change after having a fresh playthrough, because there are some games in the franchise that I haven't played in like a decade or over a decade. So there's some games that I need to refresh my memory on. One of them being 5, which is like Reed's, besides 7, I think. I don't know. It's one of Reed's favorite Final Fantasies, and it kind of has me thinking like I need to figure out why or how I can get it to come up from fourth from the bottom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, come on, Danny. Like Final Fantasy V, it's not like it's Squall.
All right, so we gotta fill Danielle, because that's the second time we've referenced it.
That's true.
So we did a tier maker of every Final Fantasy main character, and on the tier maker, I was fighting real hard for my boy Squall.
We put him in C tier, and it was, as everything, very divisive.
It was. And I was like, look, man, I see what you guys are saying. I get it. And everything you're saying is right, but here's why you're wrong, and I need Squall up a little higher. Let's get him B, maybe B tier.
You see, because it's a democracy and not a danocracy, Squall stayed down with those C boys.
Oh no!
At least Vaughn was unanimous. At least nobody tried to argue why he is S tier.
So Danielle, we have to know, just completely unrelated to what we're about to do. What are your thoughts on Vaughn? We have to settle this now.
So I don't want to be too mean to him.
Right?
Well, honestly, that's really all you have to say. That's really all you have to say.
That's all you have to say.
I haven't. So I'm gonna be honest. I haven't played all of 12, but Vaughn, I don't want to be too mean to him. I want to be nice. I want to be nice.
It sounds like you've played enough.
Yeah, he's kind of got this for what I said that he's kind of the character, like the character is kind of the player, I meant to say. So the character, like Vaughn, I think is meant for him to be you. Like they don't really inject him with too much personality or like too much things to say, or he's not even the main character, like in my opinion. And I feel like
definitely not.
Yeah, I feel like it's just kind of like, hey, here you are along for the ride. But they didn't, for me, I just didn't like Vaughn, and I wouldn't even want to put myself as Vaughn. Like I would just like I don't like Vaughn. He's
I'd rather be
surrounded
one of those
by
lizard people.
Yeah.
I did have a friend who really loved Vaughn. He was like standing him. Like I appreciate you. That's
Yeah,
all
hey,
I'll
man.
say. I
That's right.
appreciate you.
I appreciate your enthusiasm.
Like the number one thing I couldn't get over was like his like. I feel like Vaughn wakes up every morning, grabs a can of spray paint, and and paints his abs on.
Yeah,
In fact,
I can definitely see that.
when we did the Secret Santa, that's one of the gifts I should have gotten, was a can of spray paint for his abs.
Oh my god, that'd been great.
Yeah,
For another obscure Reed gift that we would have never guessed.
Yeah, we did Secret Santa last week on
Dude.
Final
All right.
Podcast X.
That episode was something.
That was fun.
that was so fun.
Yeah,
Also,
long
watch
story
these.
short, long story short, Daniel put all my gifts in the beginning so I would lose.
is
I
some
messed up.
sabotage. Also,
Okay.
obscure Reed gift, new name of our folk band.
Obscure Reed
Obscure
gift.
Reed gift.
Oh, that's our bluegrass band.
Yeah, bluegrass.
That's
There you go. It's bluegrass.
We have
Yeah.
like a lot of bands.
Yeah,
We have a lot of free time.
All right, Danny, tell us
There's a
about
new
this
band
game,
every
man.
episode. Yeah,
What
let's
you mean
let me
is a
tell you
lot of
about this is the ranking. So we don't have to spend too much time on it, but I do like to have a little, like, let's have a little conversation about Final Fantasy while we're at it. You know,
Yeah.
if there's a like a game that you want to like add to, or like you have some fond memories of, we're gonna focus on you, Danielle. We'll just kind of get everyone else's picks, Reed and Vinny's. But tell me all about these Final Fantasies. Like if you have any fond memories of them, or if you just want to rank them and just like, oh, just put him in, put 12 at the bottom or something. Like, it's like,
Oh,
okay,
no.
you don't have to comment on it.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
which game in what rank, and then a 500-word dissertation on
And then-
why.
yeah, we're gonna need a dissertation on it.
And you will be graded.
Yeah, we are the
Oh
panel.
wow.
This
No
will show
pressure.
up on your quarterly review. Yeah.
Time to get your doctorate in Final Fantasy.
There's no pressure here.
FFU.
At
We
FU.
believe in you.
At FFU, is that what you said? Vinny?
Yeah,
Yeah. FFU.
dude.
All right. So Danielle, I guess what would be the easiest way to do it? Would be, what is your favorite Final Fantasy of all time?
Probably favorite Final Fantasy. But see, that's hard too because I have two really like fond ones. One that became a fond one over time, and one that was as soon as I started playing it. So I'll go for the one that I love the most right now, and it's been like this for years because it's gotten me through a lot of stuff. It's kind of helped me kind of become a better person. And that's FF9.
FF9.
I have a deep love for that game.
That's awesome. I actually love.
Yeah.
I love that's kind of like out there. Like it's.
Yeah,
anything-
it is. It is out there.
Awesome.
It's
Yeah.
a great game though. It's
Nine
like it
was-
kind of like
Mhm.
harkens back to like the old school Final Fantasies more.
Yeah, it goes back to the roots.
So,
And then,
yeah, number 2.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead. You're on a roll.
Okay. And then I'd say the second one that I grew to love due to a certain expansion that came out a little while ago is FF14. Shadowbringers may as well be its own game.
Here's a
Love-
disclaimer I should have said at the beginning, and I love
Okay.
FF14.
Okay.
So my disclaimer I should have said at the beginning was that I didn't include 11 or 14 because
Okay.
because of the fact that they're MMOs. But I have been informed by two of my favorite content creators, Soldier First Class and Night Sky Prince.
I love them both so much.
Had them both on the show. I was so like
Love them both.
it was so awesome to have them. When we first started FFTV, one of my first goals was I need to get them on the show because I follow them so much and I respect their content, respect their opinions. And one of their opinions was that 7 is like their favorite Final Fantasy of all time. And just recently, they've both tweeted that 14 is the greatest Final Fantasy ever made. And I was like, okay, whoa. but like I would obviously I thought about it before I took to the comments, and I was like, oh, you know what though? That's their opinion. And that is fine. That's fine. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? And on the flip side of it, as I know that Final Fantasy 14 could never be. They're better than Final Fantasy VII in my mind, in my
Mm-hmm.
heart. And I'm like, and that's okay because I resonated with them so much when they're talked about Final Fantasy VII. And now that they're talking this highly of Final Fantasy 14, it has me like even more hyped to get through A Realm Reborn. So like I'm
Oh my
playing A Realm
goodness,
Reborn right
yes.
now. And I guess quick first impressions. My first impressions of it are just kind of like it's a lot. It's a lot going on. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of like menus you have to figure out, button
Mhm.
presses and stuff because it's essentially a computer game ported onto the PS5 for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm trying to figure out these commands to make it as seamless as possible. It's just one big giant tutorial right now, and I don't find
Mm-hmm.
the combat system very engaging. I'm kind of like just kind of trudging through it right now. It's not as bad as a lot of people said it was going to be. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna be yeah, it's gonna be miserable, but once you get to Heaven's Word, it's gonna be amazing. It's not as bad as that. I mean, I'm still enjoying my time, but
Mm-hmm.
I am finding out that it can be played as a single player Final Fantasy experience.
Yeah.
So I
Until you get
will
to major
eventually add
dungeons, and then
14.
immediately
I'll
keep
add
going.
14 to the list eventually.
Yay.
Hey, big shout out to 14. I played for 2 years as a bard, white mage trap. I got all the free gifts because they thought I was a chick. That's why I don't normally mention it.
It's a
And
trap.
yeah, I was totally a trap, and they never found out. So sorry, guys. Thanks for all the free stuff. And I love 14 a lot. I wish I had
Did
time to play it.
did
Still.
you do like girly teehees in Discord so they would like to really sell it?
Oh no, I did not at all. They just saw the character on screen. They didn't see the
You
neck beard behind the screen.
you literally
Why is
you
14 like,
catfished millions.
can you give me your take on 14 and like why it's a game that needs to be played by Final Fantasy fans, including myself and like a few of the other guys here. They have I think everybody has at least dabbled in it, but
Mhm.
yeah, now that there's these expansions out, and we got the likes of Night Sky Prince and Soldier, and now you saying like, hey, we're ranking it in the top two, right? And, like so obviously 14 has come a long way, and there should be a demand to play it. So can you explain why 14 needs to be played?
Um, it does go in the category of when you're starting on The Realm Reborn or Realm Reborn, it is in that category where it is like it does get better, and when it gets better, it gets better.
Hmm.
I think without giving anything away, when you enter Heaven's Word, I feel like you're gonna find more of an appreciation for 14. Um, but I feel like it's one of those games that you can play with either alone or play with friends. I always like playing with my friends a lot. But when I first started playing, I was playing with my sister and I had no friends to play with.
Mm.
So I was kind of a loner. I tanked for a while and then I got a lot of hate as a tank. Like, you're not doing this right. Why aren't you pulling? Why aren't you aggroing? And these are terms that I didn't know about because this is my very first MMO that I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, I kind of stopped playing the game after receiving all this hate. Like, oh, why are you wearing crafting gear? Like, why aren't you wearing battle gear? Like, what does this mean? Like, what is this? What is hate? What is aggro? What is, like, I didn't know anything. So I just stopped playing for maybe, oh gosh, like a 3-4 months, I think.
Mm.
And I'm like, you know what? I did the whole Gwen thing. You know what? They don't pay my rent. They don't know me. I'm having fun with this game, even though I'm getting a lot of, hate from people. I'm just going to keep on going with this as the same classes as a tank and just try to improve from there. And I just started slowly improving the more I learned what certain terms meant, what gear I should be wearing. And then I just maybe things started making sense. But the story is amazing. Like the
Mhm.
more you go through the expansions, it gets more and more in depth. It gets a lot deeper. You get to know the characters more that you're adventuring with. It's just a really amazing game, and I highly recommend it.
All right. Well, I'm really excited with what you just said there, and on top of everybody else's high praise, I'm excited to get through it. Yeah, I can't wait. I just met the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. I think
Mhm.
that's what. Yeah. So I just met them. So hopefully not too much longer until Heaven's Word. But it's not like bad or anything. So that's awesome. I'm gonna put a
Yeah,
little side note.
I'm glad you're enjoying the game so far.
Yeah, I am enjoying it. It's not like it's a lot of people kind of warned me and they're like, "Oh man, it's just going to be really boring."
Yeah.
And I'm not like bored. I will say the combat though is not very engaging. I'm a black
Yeah.
mage, um, and as the black mage, I find myself just spamming Blizzard because like because I tried to. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do some elemental stuff. There's a firebomb, or not firebomb, but like here's a something that looks like it's made of fire. I'm gonna use Blizzard. Something that looks like
Mhm.
it's made of fire. I'm gonna use the other way around. Something that's made
Mhm.
of ice. I'm gonna use fire. So I'm trying to get all like technical with it, but it turns out I'm just finding out to just use Blizzard at all times. Like because for some reason I must have missed it in the tutorial, but when I use it, it just replenishes my MP gauge, which is
Oh.
yeah, it's weird. So like I could go down to like 0 MP by using fire, but when I use Blizzard, it just gives me a huge chunk of MP back. so
Nice.
so I do that and it does that, and then Blizzard ends up being the most powerful spell that I have. Like even with fire and
Mhm.
fire 2, I just use
So
Blizzard.
it's like the thing with that, and as well as like any MMO, like I still play like Raid and Classic WoW. It's like early on, obviously your arsenal is like pretty limited, but it's like the whole kind of concept is like late game and stuff. You have to like chain stuff and combo stuff. Like the concept of like getting like getting mana replenishment is going to be like really significant like
Mhm.
later on. So it's
Hmm.
it's kind of negligible now because like your mana pool's not like huge and like your spells don't cast a whole lot, but like that's something that will like they very obviously want you to know that like now because it's going to be
Okay.
very important later.
Mhm.
Like I played 14 for like I don't know like 6 months or something way back in the day,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's I mean the art is obviously very Final Fantasy, but a lot
Yeah.
of the concepts are very much just the same as like World of Warcraft, and like that's a big thing. So I just wanted to like to let you know about that because I
Mhm.
All right, cool. So besides 14, Danielle, what would be your number 2 pick?
7. Definitely
7.
FF7, hands down.
Nice. Now, we've all talked about 7. Danielle, is there? I mean, why is 7 so important to you?
That just because that was so I played the series backward. There are some games that I have not played in this series. Like I haven't played 5 or 6, and I have people telling me you need to play
Oh.
those. Please
Mhm.
play those. And with me, I think I'm spoiled with like really good graphics, like FF7 Remake. And I'm like, can I go back to sprites? Am I that spoiled from all these good graphics? Can I go back? Um, so I haven't played both of
Mhm.
those. I was going to put tactics in there because I do love tactics a lot.
Mhm.
But definitely 7. 7 has a lot of memories, like a lot of stuff with Vincent and Red 13 and just the game in general. There's a lot of really good moments that really bonded with me.
Tell you what, Danielle, we'll make it a little easier for you. We'll do a top 5.
Okay.
Okay, so we got 14, and we got 7. And you can
Hmm.
do you can do whatever Final Fantasy you want.
Okay.
Um, so we're on number 4 now. So you have Final Fantasy 9 as your favorite Final Fantasy of all time. Final Fantasy
Hmm.
14 is number 2, Final Fantasy 7 as number 3, and then as number 4.
Number 4,
Mm-hmm.
uh, definitely Tactics, FF
Tactics.
Tactics.
Nice.
I love that game so much.
Now, are you talking
I'm,
tactics on the PS1, like the original tactics?
Yeah, like the OG
Mm-hmm.
Tactics.
yeah that game is like still so freaking good.
I'm
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm playing through it right now
The
on
music is
PS4.
so good too. See, I'm breaking out in song.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
I'm feeling it.
There's some
And
bops in there.
yeah, there
yeah.
it really is.
I
And Tactics Advanced though, I love Tactics
need to
Advanced.
try that.
Yes,
Hmm.
I love Tactics Advanced. It was really good. And then number 5
Number 5 is actually going to be 8.
is 8. All
Final
right,
Fantasy 8.
Final Fantasy 8. Is there a particular memory with Final Fantasy 8 that
I
you?
like the music. I liked whenever Zell showed up. I used to call my baby Billy Idol with his hot dogs.
Uh-oh. See,
That was the
see,
NC
Vinny, I bet
got
you
it.
I bet you would have got that obscure read gift. I bet you would have got it. So
Yeah.
one of the Secret Santa gifts I got was a hot dog. And
Oh, nice.
it's
Yep.
for Zell, because
I
like at
had
the
like
beginning
a
of the game.
like a party going on with a bunch of Final Fantasy characters and Shrek. But we had a
Wait, why Shrek?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Why
Yeah,
Shrek?
no, it was the funniest thing was just like we were all sitting there looking at all the characters, and I can't even remember who it was. I think it might have been Vinny.
Vinny.
Yep.
But just like kind of tilts his head and is like, "Is that Shrek?"
That's great.
I was like, I was looking at the hungry monster from Final Fantasy VII. I was just like, what is he doing here? And then I look up a little bit and I was like, is that Shrek?
That's
It's like, which
great.
Final Fantasy is he from?
I like my chest actually like hurt, was sore after that episode from a
Oh
while.
no.
Secret
God, it
Santa
was
was
so
a lot
funny.
of fun. But
And we
was
were
our
sober.
least watched episode on the show. But it's
Oh no.
it was a lot of fun. Real quick though, like without giving any explanation, let's just go right through them. Vinny, rank your Final Fantasies. Let's go.
So I have 7 as number 1,
Mm-hmm.
then 10,
Okay.
then I have 8, 5,
Okay.
4,
Okay.
6, then 13.
13 seems to fall right in the middle for us.
13's kind of ruined for me because of its spin-offs. But I know I shouldn't hold it against it, but it's really hard to think that something doesn't exist when it exists. After 13, all right, can I just skip to the very bottom and put 3?
Sure. There we go.
My last one should have been 3. I had a
Um,
tie between the last 3. Yeah. There you go.
What I was gonna do for my last one, but I was gonna say 8, but I was like, I still want to keep it as 8, but I was thinking of, and this game gets a lot of hate. FF10 too. I love the battle
10
system.
too.
I think 10-2 is fun. I think too many
Yeah.
people went into it thinking like, oh, this is going to be a serious sequel to
Yeah.
a serious game, but it was fun and upbeat, and I think that's what ruined it for a lot of people. But I
Mhm.
thought it was a lot of fun.
I really
Hunting
like the
dress fears.
character Pain. Pain's pretty
Oh,
cool.
Pain was my everything. I was like,
I-
can you give her her own game, please?
I thought Pain was Lulu in the trailers when
Yeah.
the game was first coming out, and I was just like, oh wow, Lulu's really agile now, but no, it's not her.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that game.
10 too. That was definitely like everybody's saying. It was one of those like not what you expected.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Yeah, 10 too. Cool. That's good pick. Vinny, after 13.
After 13, probably 1.
Okay.
I really like 1.
Mhm.
Then 2.
Okay. Man. Whew. Didn't like 15 too
happening
much,
here?
huh?
12 is going to be above 3.
Okay. Okay, 12 above 3. What else you got?
That 15.
Ooh, okay.
It
Oh yeah,
hurts.
15.
It hurts so
I
bad.
love 15.
My-
Remember,
my-
I play video games differently than you guys.
You do.
My
yeah.
heart is weeping for
You-
Noctis and the boy band.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yo,
There was
all my
not
friends.
This is
There
coming
was
from
not-
the limit breaker.
there was not much room for challenge runs in 15, and like the reason 1 is so high was because one of the funnest thing I've ever done in Final Fantasy so far is try and play through Final Fantasy 1 as just a white mage, just one white mage. That I almost pulled my hair out. And which
That's why
Final
it's so
Fantasy am I
short.
missing
You're
here?
missing 9.
9.
Am I missing 9? Oh,
Yeah.
9 shouldn't be all the way down there. All right.
Let's
All right, just
restart.
switch 5 and 9.
5 and 9. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh
Wow, my heart.
The
I can't
tide- the
I can't
tide
believe you've
turned.
done this.
You've
You-
done this.
You got his hopes up, and
Why
then you
would you
just
do
crushed
something
him
so
right there.
dumb?
Boom.
Read real quick, Meg. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
7, 5, 6.
7. Yeah, I like this. You like you rolling through them. 7, 5, 6.
9,
Okay.
4, Sheesh, 10. You can skip to the bottom and put. Actually, man, I don't.
I know.
I'm gonna
It's
put.
once you get
I'm
past
gonna
the top
put.
5.
I'm gonna put 15 at the bottom. I haven't played it.
Get-
I live.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't played
Get
it.
out.
Then
Just leave.
I'll put 2 above that. Above 15.
You like 3 more than 2?
Man, I'm a sucker for the job system. Like I
That-
love job systems.
The job system is what ruined it for me because
Yeah, like the cooldown, like after you change a class, like you have like no powers. But like
Yep.
it's challenging. I mean, if this was a character tier, we all know where 3 would be for everyone. But
yeah.
but the game itself is actually fine.
So 3 above 2.
Yes.
Okay.
2, I actually enjoyed 2, but 2 is very
Generic.
So yeah, it's just your characters are like their class is just like they become proficient at whatever you use
They're-
like on them. So if you just have one character, you put like all your black magic on, they're
Mhm.
you know boom.
They're the warriors of light, but with names.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, there you
exactly. Yeah, literally. And above 3, we'll put 1.
Okay.
Let's put 8. 8 under 10.
Oh, 8 under 10. All right.
Yeah, under 10. Sorry, I'm hopping all around.
No,
Kinda.
you're good.
Yeah, I
Trying to
screwed
be-
Danny up that way too.
You're good. You're
Uh,
good. I'm making you guys do it rapid fire.
You got
right now.
13 and
see.
12, man.
13 and
This is
12.
down to. All right, so actually, you know what? Yeah, so we'll put 12 here,
Okay.
and then
13.
let's swap 13 and 1,
Okay. Okay.
and that's it.
All right. Cool. All right.
I like 13 was fun at first, but it's just so linear, and like the fact that it's like, you know, half the characters are just named after inclement weather, like lightning, snow, like someone like turned on the weather channel and was like, I have an idea for a game.
Vanille is ice cream, though, right? I don't know. So that's not weather.
Ice
so
cream.
much-
What is
so
that?
much
Was that ice
hate.
cream?
Ice cream is weather.
Ozzy, just go ahead and list them off real quick so that any
Oh,
audio listeners-
we got 7. We got 6. Yes, because 6 is amazing. We got 10. We got 8, followed by 15, 9, 13, 12. Sorry, Vaughn. 4, 5, and then in no particular order, all tied really 1, 2, and 3. Because
1, 2, and 3.
I,
All right,
I can't.
from my end, I got Final Fantasy VII at number 1, of course. This is the way. Final Fantasy VI,
This is the way.
Final Fantasy 15, 10, 8, 4. That was such a tough way to organize those because I love 4, and I feel like once we replay, I feel like 4 is going to go a little higher.
Yeah, 4 is incredible. Also, I just want, this is random, but man, just when we have our names actually like written out, like the 5 of us, like we like there's some badass like warrior light names right there. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Danielle McRae is our leader today.
Got her. Danielle, if you could be a class from Final Fantasy in real life, what would it be?
I always go tank. Like it's just my instinct. I always go tank.
So are we talking like
right in.
warrior or paladin?
Aggro. Just wanna aggro them fools.
Yeah. Definitely warrior. Warrior, definitely.
There we go.
Nice. And
A
then
sassy,
after
sassy warrior.
Sassy
warrior.
The sassy warrior.
Yes.
Then after 4 it was 9, 13, 12, 5, 2, 1, and 3. So that's how I rank them. And yeah, that was fun, guys. Let's get on to the Mad Libs portion. What do you think, Danielle? You ready to do some Mad Libs?
I am all set.
All right,
Oh
awesome.
yeah, this is always
This is
fun.
gonna be fun.
Again, just we say noun, just think of whatever crazy, any crazy noun, like just be as outlandish as possible, because the whole point is like when you have to read it back and you're seeing it for the first time, like with John, it like there was one moment where he just geeked when he read it, like you're just gonna squat there.
Squat there.
Oh
I
my
loved
God,
it
it's so
when he read it as Cloud, though, as the
dude.
Aw.
squat there.
I need to hear his cloud. That's
He
awesome.
read it as
It's
Cloud.
so
All right, so Danielle, I need a mythical creature.
Mythical creature. Let's
Mhm.
go. Let's go dragon.
Well, okay. Very good. Very good. Dragon. A place.
What's that?
Just a place. Any place.
Place.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go Domino's Pizza.
Domino's Pizza.
I already can tell you this is fantastic.
This is already fantastic.
This
Already.
we got
episode brought
Dragon
to you
and
by
Domino's.
Pizza.
Yes.
So, like a derogatory name that you would call somebody. Like,
Oh my goodness.
just like
Uh-oh.
what do you call somebody?
I don't use it very often, but I only use it, and it's a really weird.
Oh,
I
this is
take
great.
2 words. Okay, it's jerk butt.
Jerk butt.
Jerk butt. I don't use it very often.
Oh, this is
That's
great.
good.
You just
Better.
wait.
That's gonna be the new like insult amongst us.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, yes.
Jerk butt.
Jerk
stop being
butt.
it. Don't be a
Jerk
jerk
butt's
butt.
doing today.
Don't be a jerk butt.
That's gonna be the title of the episode.
Yes.
Don't be such a
butt.
yeah,
Don't be a jerk butt.
Don't be a J. Yeah, you JB.
I like how you were just like, all right, I don't use this too often. I'm not like a mean person,
I'm
and
not-
excuse my French, but jerk butt.
You're a jerk butt.
I was
Yeah.
expecting like some real harsh language.
know, I was-
about
I was
that,
just
but I'm
like-
well,
like-
here we go.
Hold on, get ready for the censors.
Yeah.
Jerk butts. Okay.
Jerk butts. It kind of sounds,
Podcast
you know,
11.
it kind of sounds adorable too when you think about it. So it's like insulting, but it also kind of sounds like, oh, that's kind of cute. It's like 2 words to put them together.
Like
Do you think I
you,
should use it, like I call my wife
Lovers quarrel.
you son of a biscuit eating bulldog.
Jag
Sure.
nabbit.
All right, all right,
Dang.
all
All right,
right.
here we go. Bye. I need
new
to
new tier list between jerk butt and jive turkey.
Ha! Drive turkey. Hey.
I need a,
All right,
a body
sorry.
part.
Body part.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go with toe.
Okay, I'm good. I like that. That's funny. A person or a thing.
Person or thing.
Mm-hmm. It's not quite a noun yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
person, place, or thing. I would take the place out.
2/3
Let's
now.
go. Let's go. Let's go Robin Williams.
Oh man.
Also one of my favorite actors of all time. So thank
I
you.
love him. Yeah. He's actually one of the people that got me into voice acting. So yeah,
That's
I love
actually
him.
that's awesome. Yeah, Genie.
Yeah,
Yes.
Genie was great.
Genie was great.
Did Robin Williams do Genie for Kingdom Hearts?
No.
No.
No, right?
I need a noun.
A noun. Let's
Mhm.
see. Mm,
And yes, Osby, I know earlier you corrected me on that Williams there. It is Will I am. That's how you spell it.
Oh, I know. That's why I did it, baby.
I'm in the document.
I
And
got
got it
you.
wrong,
I
and
got
I'm
you.
just trying
Wait,
to
did-
move on.
Did you just bender him? Did you just bender him, Osby? Shut up, baby. I know it.
I was like, Will
Let's-
I am
let's go with a Toyota, just because that's random.
Toyota. Okay.
That's so random.
surprisingly fits so well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Just like you fitted to a new Toyota.
Yes. Here you go, jerk butt. Here's your
Here you go,
Toyota.
jerk. Thanks for being on Final Fan TV. Here's your Toyota. I need a
DMG.
thing.
Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with the brush.
A brush. Mm-hmm. And then plural thing.
Plural thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many to choose from.
There's a lot of
Um,
things in the world.
Literally, because it's plural.
Yeah. Hmm.
Mhm. Thinking of a real good one right now. I can tell.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a really good one.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Hmm.
Mice?
Mice. Okay.
Go with little mice.
Okay. And then the last one I need is a verb.
Let's see. Verb.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of another good one.
This is the last
Because I
one.
feel like this is kind of telling a story here with all these like keywords.
This is actually the first the prologue of your biography. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
As she brushed her big toe, the jerk butt.
Jerk butt. Let's see here. We'll go with offer.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Offer.
Offer.
Very nice.
Yay.
Let's go a different verb. I'm sorry. That one doesn't.
No,
really fit.
that's okay. That's okay. Let's see here. Let's go with eat.
Okay. Nice. That was good. All right, here we go. So that one went to that one was good. Let's share screen. Okay, here we go. Share screen. And now you're going to read this back to us.
Okay.
In the voice of Gwen. Do you see what I see?
Yeah, I do. Okay. There we go.
What
Okay.
I see.
When you're ready.
All right. Tifa, you won't believe this. A cerulean dragon flew in from the Domino's Pizza, but these two jerk butts refuse to get up their toes and do anything about it. Hey, is that? It is you, the new Robin Williams. Then maybe you can help us out. Dragon is in the old Toyota factory over there, but to reach it, you'll need to get a hold of a watch security brush. You should be able to find one inside of one of those mice. I forget which one. Just eat them all.
Eat them all.
I like that.
Just eat all the mice.
Just eat them all.
Eat all
Eat
them
'em
damn
all.
mice. Eat them all.
New band
would-
casually eating mice.
Who would have thought Domino's had such a dragon problem?
Right?
It must be the new recipe.
Secret recipe.
Mice just eating these hairbrushes, and just eat them all.
Just eat them all.
Yeah. Well, the thing about being a good security guard is you have to have your brush.
This is true. This is very true.
All those damn jerk butts out there,
I know, those jerk butts. They got it coming.
I mean, you have to literally brush your shoulders off.
So Danielle, I need to ask you something. We're Final Fantasy TV. We love Final Fantasy. We love JRPGs. We're all big fans of JRPGs here, but something we don't often talk about enough are non-Final Fantasy games. And I'm not trying to get too far away from the subject matter, but let's just briefly talk about non-Final Fantasy JRPGs. So I'm going to ask you a question, but before I ask you the question, I'm going to answer the question.
Okay.
My favorite non-Final Fantasy JRPG is probably Lost Odyssey on Xbox 360. So what I would like to ask you is, what is your non-Final Fantasy favorite non-Final Fantasy JRPG?
Favorite non-Final Fantasy. So my favorite non-Final Fantasy RPG is Parasite Eve.
Parasite.
Oh, another Square Enix.
Parasite Eve.
Ooh.
Yes, another Square Enix game. Yeah.
How to do it?
Curveball there.
Parasite was a great game.
I'd
It
love to
was.
see Parasite Eve get like a reboot.
Do you guys consider the Soul series to be a JRPG?
No.
I mean, it's made by a Japanese company, Bandai Namco, and From Software, and it's an RPG.
It doesn't have the flavor of JRPG. I don't know. I mean,
It doesn't have them.
like technically, I would
Would
say
it be more of an
is.
action RPG?
It's very technically a Japanese RPG.
But so,
Technically.
wait. So then, would you not consider Nier Automata a JRPG?
I would. That has that flavor,
Oh.
baby.
But so what's the difference?
Stop
No,
coming in
that's-
with all these other things that work.
That's like
Because Nier
That's just like
Automata is in random battles. It's also
okay.
um
Okay.
It's like action RPG. I don't know. Like I kind of differentiate them. Like when I think of like the classic format, I would consider for like a JRPG mostly is like turn-based, or like there's like certain like variations, like variants of that, like of the combat back in the day. But I don't. Yeah, like it's like Final Fantasy 15 almost isn't really like a JRPG. Like it is, but you know what I mean. It's all like Danny was saying. It's all about that flavor, baby.
It's about that.
It's all about it's all about them flavor crystals. Like I don't know. There's it's so hard to gauge, and it's like here you know it's open 2021 with JRPG gatekeeping with Reed.
So with
It's
that
so
being
hard to-
said, Reed, what's your favorite non-Final
Easy.
Fantasy?
Suikoden 2, Breath of Fire 3, Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars.
Wait, hold on,
Time
because
out.
you kind of got my heart with Super Mario RPG.
There
Oh
were
my
so
God.
many all at once. I said one.
Yeah.
We gotta have one. Come on now.
But it's like oh man, it's probably Suikoden 2.
That's
and-
in my top 5.
It's so hard to pick between like because Breath of Fire 3 is amazing, and then Mario RPG is like my childhood, dude. Like and that's another Square Enix game.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, people like Mario, but what if we like put him in a Final Fantasy game? And
Yeah.
that's like literally what happened. And also like I literally have next to me right now, my buddy does like models or whatever, and he made one of Gino for me because like that's my dude.
Nice.
Nice.
That is my absolute dude.
Yeah, Super Mario RPG was actually like the reason why I got into JRPG. So that's my very first intro to JRPGs. I love that game so much, and Gino's best boy.
It's such a good in like I still think it's so funny. Like the most powerful weapon in the game is just is a woman swinging a frying pan.
Yes, that was OP. That frying pan was OP.
Peach was OP in general because like she had the full heal for a single target. She had the group heal. She had the revival, and then she had the frying pan.
Yes, she did.
Like, it's the ultimate waifu.
So Vinny, you mentioned
Yes.
Dark Souls. Which one, man?
Oh,
You just got to pick one.
of the whole Soulsborne series or of Dark Souls?
Just one.
Whole Soulsborne series? Oh, that's hard. Probably 1.
Okay.
Dark Souls 1.
Is 1 the one with the Minotaur boss? Is that the first one or is that the second one?
There's
Like, you're like
he's
on
not
the rampart. Like
he's
where
not
you're-
really a Minotaur. He's a demon. But yeah, that's Dark Souls 1. It's
Okay.
the Taurus demon you're thinking.
Yeah.
of.
It's on. Yeah. I mean, he looks an awful like a Minotaur.
What about you, Danny?
I'd probably go with Chrono Trigger.
Ooh,
I
that's
did-
up there too.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's
I
up
love
there too.
Chrono Trigger. It's very, obviously it's around that time with Final Fantasy VI, the Super Nintendo type thing. Yeah, I actually didn't play Chrono Trigger until after playing Chrono Cross on the PS4.
Oh,
which is also a
Yeah.
very fun
Ooh,
game.
that's a curveball.
Yeah.
I love that game too.
So if,
Yep.
if we're throwing out reference, have you guys played Legend of Dragoon or Legend of Legaia?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Legend
Both
of
of
Dragoon.
those are amazing.
I played Dragoon. I've seen my sister play Legaia, and I appreciate both of those games.
Oh, dude, they're so much fun.
Can I give an honorable mention to, I don't know if you guys ever played this, but Monster Rancher 2 for the PlayStation 2 or for the PlayStation
Oh.
1.
Yeah. Mhm.
I have it and I have a working PlayStation 2, but apparently the disc doesn't work. So
Oh no.
I looked it up and I was like, Monster Rancher 2 for PlayStation 1, how much could that cost? It's $180. So
Dude, Suikoden 2 is like $300 now.
yeah, these old games are like
Yeah.
ridiculous. And I have Digimon World, like the first Digimon game to come out for
Oh
PlayStation.
wow.
And
You mean Poop Cleaner 5000, Poop
Yep.
Scooper 5000?
I have never been able to evolve my Digimon into anything but that green slime monster, and I was like, great, I jacked it up again. You just poop too much on the ground. Yes, that
You
game.
have the disc.
You have-
Look at you.
You have Monster Rancher 2?
Oh, I sure do. I bought it new, man.
Oh,
It's
here,
in-
let me
it's
take
in-
it out of the
it's-
cellophane.
Oh, it's
real quick.
pristine, baby. We got
Wow.
it. I've got a.
That looks
you can't really
good.
see it. There's a massive shelf of just PS1 games. back there.
Osby, can I
That's
sleep
great.
over?
I mean,
Sleep
we
over.
come to St. Louis, man. We'll play
I'll
some
come to
Monster-
I will come to St. Louis just to play Monster Rancher 2. I've been dying to play that game since I was in like middle school because my disc broke and I was never able to find it again.
Oh
Are we in a slumber
no.
party? Is
We-
this
are
London?
I'm down.
Oh,
I'll
you-
put it on PlayStation 2.
Road
Actually,
trip,
while,
man.
while we're talking about Osby, I just want to approach a subject that's very important in every podcast. Do you know that
Oh.
Osby was a professional wrestler?
Oh.
You know, it's funny you say that because I just have this sitting here for moments that are relevant. I am a
Awesome.
retired professional wrestler, wrestled for 13 years with all the tights and hitting people with chairs and getting concussions, and broke my neck in the ring one time. Good
Oh.
times.
Show her your action figure.
Okay,
Oh, I want to
fine.
see the action figure.
He actually has an action figure. That's
What?
him. That's Osby.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so-
yes, it is.
Look, that's Osby.
That's so cool.
definitely-
That's
it's-
amazing.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's-
It just like it kind of like organically comes up like every podcast.
Every episode.
Organically,
every
Reed,
guest.
Reed brings it up. I'm like, I
That's-
don't.
and-
It's
and
these
that's
aren't
why.
about me. These are about our guests.
No,
and then-
that makes me very happy because I'm a huge wrestling fan. So that makes me
Ooh,
very
favorite wrestler.
happy.
As an
There's
inside
so
joke,
many.
and
I
how
like
come up with it.
Undertaker. I like New-
hold on.
New Day.
Undertaker
Nice.
is my all-time favorite. I met
Mhm.
him. I'm 6'3", and he made me feel tiny.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Oh my
You're
God.
6'3"?
I'm 6'3".
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
6'2". Reed.
Guys, come on, man. Some of us barely hit.
I
Come on.
I'll, Danielle, I'll have you know that I
Mhm.
occasionally use the choke slam,
Ooh.
and a lot of my gear and attire was based on the black that Undertaker wore. And I've got, you can't tell it, but I've got really long hair, and it was like all on my face, and it's
That's
good times,
awesome.
good
Yeah,
times.
Osby used
Good
to,
times indeed.
Osby used to
That's
hurt
great.
people for a living.
And
Oh,
you have
it's-
you have a figure though. That's like a badge of honor right there.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. Like it just hadn't come up yet, and as an inside joke, I was like, well, if we're not, if you know, Osby's asking us questions, you know what? Let's make this about you, fella.
I'm glad it came up. I'm so glad it came
And
up.
the best thing
Also-
about having your own action figure is when you get into arguments with people and they have a really good, like, argumentative side. I'm just like, yeah, but do you have your own action figure?
Uh-huh.
Who wins?
Yep.
Who wins?
Also,
It never
I just
works.
want-
by
I
the
just want to
way.
approach the fact that Rey Mysterio is the greatest wrestler of all time,
He's another
Rey
good one.
Mysterio.
He's another good one.
That's
And-
a good.
and Billy Kidman, the shooting star press dude. Like I learned how to do backflips because of Billy Kidman, because like
Ooh.
his finisher was like the gainer off the turnbuckle, like the top rope, like the forward backflip.
I like
So, like-
the Dudley Boys.
Ooh.
Ooh.
3D. There we
Those were
go.
my favorite.
They're good too.
That was
Mhm.
my favorite tag team, and then my favorite wrestler was The Rock. Just
The
just
Rock,
the
yes.
best entertainer.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
speaking of wrestling, I think we secretly want to get Xavier Woods on our podcast at some point.
And
Ew,
then
I
At
love
some
him.
point,
I
his-
messaged him. Like,
his
just-
love for Final Fantasy VII is infectious, and I
Aw.
don't care if we ever are able to actually get him on, but I would love to try. Love to
Yeah.
try.
Well,
I know it's possible
cross my
because my buddy
fingers.
Yeah.
got him on his podcast one time.
Mhm.
Oh,
So it is in the realm of things that could possibly happen.
I believe in you guys.
what Danielle said about like just sending an email and just hoping
Yeah, just seeing what happens.
Shoot your
You know,
shot,
like-
right?
You never know.
what's the worst thing that could happen. So I did send Xavier was a
Yes.
I
sent
mean,
him
you
a-
could get
Awesome.
blocked.
Yeah.
That's-
I
there's
think I
that.
got blacklisted, so it's all over. It's all over. For me. I'm just kidding. I don't know if I did, but he didn't
Come
respond.
spend
So
come spend an afternoon with some jerk butts.
yeah, come on.
Jerk
Maybe I
butts.
just gotta use jerk butts. in there.
I'm good. That's gonna stick with me for like the rest of my life. I
Oh
hope
no.
I'm gonna be calling people JBs.
You're welcome.
You're right. Yeah.
Justin
So
Bieber's.
JB,
Justin
John
Bieber.
Bentley,
Oh no.
John
no.
Bentley.
John Bentley.
Oh. Well, yeah.
If we're
There you
using
go.
jerk butt for John Bentley, it's got to be in the cute sense, right, guys?
No, he's
Aw.
no, he's a Jeb. He's a Jeb because he's
A Jeb.
JEB. He's a Jeb.
Jeb.
Oh, wait.
JEB.
New term of endearment.
Man, you guys are all Jebs to me.
Aw.
Danielle, this has been really great. I'm so happy that you came on the show and talked to us, hang out. I hope you had a great time.
I had a wonderful time. I had a great time meeting all of you, and
Oh, you're so nice.
yeah, you all are so nice. And then finding out that you were a wrestler and have your own figure, and just hanging out with everybody. Like, this was such an amazing time. I had a lot of fun here.
Awesome.
Thank you,
awesome.
guys.
Well, hey,
There-
feel free to hang out with us anytime.
Definitely. I'd love to.
And you said you play Final Fantasy 14 still?
I do.
Yeah, we're all slowly starting to get into it again. So if you ever want to play with us on there, just let us know what server you're on.
Definitely.
Yeah, you can tank for us for sure.
That would be fun.
I'd
Yes,
love
we
to.
won't grief you. We won't get mad at
I
you.
mean,
We will grief each other.
If
Yeah.
I ever hop back
Oh,
in,
no.
I'm totally the healer, so we're gonna need a tank if I ever do hop back in. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I would definitely be honored.
Oh,
to
that would
help
be
you.
awesome. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Yeah, and then speaking of like griefing, I want to close out the show with one comment here, because it has been something that's been going on in the Final Fantasy community, and I want to kind of address it here on Final Fantasy TV. We will always like speak our truths about Final Fantasy, so we're not going to sugarcoat anything. So, and I know that a lot of content creators that I respect are, they do that too, but then they get a lot of grief for it, and it's just
Yeah.
it's just that won't be tolerated on Final Fantasy TV. So I saw, for example, like Night Sky Prince said, Final Fantasy 14 is the greatest Final Fantasy. And then, like I said, I was like, I gotta comments and be like, yo, man, I respect that, but nah.
Mhm.
But then I thought about it, and you're just like, oh, okay, well, that's his opinion, and you know what? And you follow Night Sky Prince, or you follow these content creators because you respect their opinions and their if they think this game is great, then you know what? That's why you follow them. And but just no grief. Let's cut that out in the Final
It's
Fantasy.
all love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only thing people are allowed to grief on this show is my dad jokes.
Is it? We'll allow Vaughn. No,
So my last thing that I would like to ask you, if you have a second, what would you suggest, or what advice would you give to anybody that wants to be, or that aspires to be, a voice actress?
I would just say, don't do it for fame, just because this is not the kind of career that will do that, and do it because you really love to, like, you enjoy, creating characters and voice acting. Do it for the passion. Yeah, just do it for the love of the craft. Don't do it for like see how many cons I can go to, because that was my biggest mistake going into this. As when I first started doing this, my first thing was, I want to see how many cons I can go to after I first roll, and like that's the worst thing you can do. Just do it because you love it. You love what you do.
Yeah, that is so well said. Yeah,
Appreciate that
some
very
really good
much.
advice, yeah. Like it's
Really
kind
good
and like something that you can take to heart even for
Mhm.
podcasting. Just for me, I get a little you just get a little disheartened when you see like the views are not like really racking up as quickly as you'd like them to, and you're
Mhm.
just kind of like, oh man, this sucks. So it is something that you have to like constantly remind. Like I have to remind myself, like I'm doing this because I'm having fun. I'm just talking about fun.
Yeah.
This
We get
this
to
is
talk to
why-
cool people,
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
like Danielle. We get to talk to really cool people with awesome Final Fantasy experiences and just
Mhm.
love for all Final Fantasy, and that's why I do it.
And we take down
Exactly.
jerk butts in the process.
And we
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Eviscerate the jerk butt.
Yeah.
The Final Fantasy 16's villain is not Jerkbutt, and I'm.
I mean,
I don't know
that'd
if
be
I
great.
don't know if I want it.
That'd be great.
No, but my if I can rename Clive, it just might be Jerkbutt.
It might
Hey.
be Jerkbutt. That'll be our
Nice.
first- when we do the Final Fantasy Let's Play, starting with Final Fantasy 1, we will have one of the characters will be Jerkbutt.
Oh, I love it.
100%.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Daniel, thank you so much for tuning in, or not tuning in, for joining in on
Yeah.
this, and thank you for tuning in, the viewer. Thank you so much for watching the podcast and
Hanging out with us.
hanging out with us, man. What a fun time.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
so-
throughout 2020, this was just a glorified group therapy session.
Yes.
And
I like that.
Now that there's hope, now we can actually just, do it for fun.
Right.
2021, new year, new you, new Final Fantasy.
Dude,
yeah.
I mean, just hang
We
out
all-
with us, you know.
Let's
We all
see.
collected
I
the
went.
World Ada Sensu Bean at 12:01 a.m. January 1st, 2021.
I-
Global Sensu Bean.
I was trying to see how long I can make it throughout 2021 without hearing somebody say "New Year, New Me" or
And there
"New Year,
was
New
right
You,"
there.
and then
Not bad,
Osby
baby.
just Just broke it one day after
Well,
New
it's,
Year's.
you made it to January 4th, so you're well. Or sorry, January. It's
You're
January
over.
2nd.
January
Wow.
2nd.
Well, we're in
Wow.
the future. Wow.
Oh man, I
Drunk again, Osby.
Osby just revealed that he's a time traveler, and he's
That's
actually.
I
Did
mean,
he
days
tell
ahead
you
of
that he's a
us.
wrestler? Though?
it's gonna rain tomorrow. somewhere.
Is that Shrek?
Is it
That's
gonna
right.
wait? So is it gonna rain January 5th or January 3rd tomorrow?
You can figure that one out.
All right,
That's
guys.
all on you.
Yes.
All right, we'll let Danielle go. She's,
Oh, but hey, before she goes, do you have any social media channels you want to plug?
yeah.
I do. I have a Twitter at Danielle MCBO, and I use that one a lot, like probably a little too much.
Oh no, it's great. I started following. I love it. So definitely
Nice.
I need
Definitely
to
follow.
follow after this. Actually, I'll follow right now.
There you go.
Thank
Look at
you.
that. Take care of that right now, and so should you, right now. All right, guys. You guys have a great day, and Danielle, thank you once again for joining us. That was we really appreciate you taking a big chunk of your Saturday to be with us. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. This is so much fun. Thank you
was
so
awesome.
much,
We
all of you.
appreciate you.
It's great meeting you.
It's great meeting
It was
you.
great meeting you as well.
It was good to meet you too.